Hello and welcome to Granada Reports.
Hello, thanks for joining us. Coming up on the programme this evening.
£1.85 billion in debt. Government inspectors are brought in to see what's going wrong at Warrington Council.
A special report into the dangerous drug craze being fuelled by the cost of living crisis. More and more are turning to ketamine for one main reason: it's cheap.
It's a lot cheaper and it's easy to get hold of. You only have to just walk five minutes in town centre and you've got it.
I'm at Chester Racecourse for day one of the May Festival. I'll catch up with former England footballer Michael Owen, who takes me behind the scenes at his Cheshire stables.
The power of music, the £1 million project to take on dementia with a tune.
And there'll be more blue skies on the way for tomorrow, with another day of temperatures above average for the time of year. I'll have all the weather details later on in the programme.
So do please stay with us. But first tonight, the cash crisis at Warrington Council that's seen the government appoint inspectors to investigate what's going wrong.
Yeah, latest figures are shocking. They show Warrington is in debt by £1.85 billion. It is one of the worst cases in the country, and all eyes are watching to see how it can get out of this mess.
Well, the Minister for Local Government, Simon Hoare, said a series of investments funded by debt made by the Labour-run council had risen to a level which put it at risk, with possible impacts for local residents.
Yeah, our correspondent Andy Bonner is here with us now. Andy, there's no doubt this is a very serious situation.
Yeah, it is, Lucy. It may feel familiar, I think, for anyone who's been following what's been going on in Liverpool over the last few years. The government calling in an inspection over concerns at a local council. In this instance, it is Labour-run Warrington's £1.85 billion of investments which are under the microscope. In particular, it's the size and the complexity of them. Now, the Conservative MP, Andy Carter, has cited invested firms going bust and losing money, and he says that he's been warning people about the dangers of this for some time.
The downside for local residents, if these investments do go wrong, is about £10,000 per household. That's a really significant level of risk for every household in Warrington. And we're seeing that in Birmingham, where decisions were taken by Birmingham City Council, and then we're now seeing that council tax is going up by 20% to pay off those decisions. We've got to be really aware in Warrington that the decisions taken by Labour at the Town Hall are with public money, not shareholders' money, public money, and that risk falls to the public, the taxpayers in Warrington.
Well, Andy Carter also criticised the fact that the council stayed in Labour control at last week's local elections. It is the most indebted unitary authority in England. Now, the council says it will fully cooperate with the inspection, saying we've taken steps to address areas for improvement. We will continue to identify any learning and further improvements that can be made as part of this inspection process. We would like to reassure residents and businesses that this review will not impact the valuable services that you depend upon. Well, over the next few months, the inspection will look at whether the council is providing best value to the taxpayer. If not, the government could directly intervene, which could mean sending in commissioners, as we've seen in Liverpool.
Concerning stuff. You just mentioned Liverpool there, Andy. There's been a development there too today.
Yeah, there has. That intervention, it was announced today, Gamal, is largely coming to an end after 3 years. You'll remember commissioners were sent in there after allegations of corruption, bullying and intimidation. They've now recommended their powers be soon handed back to the authority, saying it is a well-governed, improving organisation. But there is a caveat, and that is that an improvement board will be put in place until next March, just to watch how things go and to provide assurances of the ongoing changes there.
OK.
Andy, we'll be watching developments on both those. Thanks very much for that. Now, next tonight, the alarming long-term health problems among young people due to the rising use of the horse tranquilizer ketamine.
Yeah, described as the pocket money or cost of living drug, it can cost people's lives and often leave survivors with long-term health problems, nicknamed ketamine bladder.
Yeah, the drug is known as Special K or KET, and it is classified as an illegal Class B drug. Latest figures show use by 16 to 24-year-olds has more than tripled in the last 5 years. This special report now by Anna Joseph starts in Burnley.
Just like the feeling, the buzz it gives you, like you had no other care in the world. It blocked all the voices out. You'd think you were taking it for a day and it could turn into weeks and you won't have a clue. You ain't got a concept of time when you're on it.
Danielle was 15 when she got hooked on ketamine. She's seen friends die after taking the drug or need surgery to repair the damage it's done to their bodies.
After sniffing it and you've ingested the KET, it goes into your liver and it just rots away your liver and it destroys everything inside you, basically. I know loads of people, they've got bags because they can't go to the toilet properly now because it makes them incontinent.
Why is it so popular with young people?
Because it's so cheap. It's £10 a gram, and whereas Coke's 40 quid a gram. It's a lot cheaper and it's easy to get hold of. You only have to just walk five minutes in town centre and you've got it. It's that easy.
Danielle's in recovery after completing a drug rehab programme. Its founder believes ketamine addiction has reached crisis point.
It's cheaper to use KET than it is to get drunk. You can share it, so you can put your pocket money together and get it. It takes you out your body and out your environment. That's very appealing for young people.
You've noticed an increase in people dying from taking ketamine. Why do you think that is?
I think it's what they do when they're on it. So time disappears. It's a painkiller, so you don't feel pain. So you can hurt yourself, bang your head, fall over, and you don't know because you don't feel pain because it's killing the pain. And the other thing is what we're seeing now is we're seeing all drugs are bashed up, adulterated with things like nitazines, which are synthetic opiates in them, where people are overdosing. So they're overdosing on ketamine. It's not just heroin, it's in the chain, it's in the all drug chain, so very, very dangerous.
Ketamine, also known as Special K or KET, is an illegal Class B drug and a powerful anaesthetic. It's used by vets as a horse tranquilizer. Ketamine use by 16 to 24-year-olds has more than tripled in the past 5 years. The drug can destroy the lining of the bladder, and experts are warning of a worrying increase in bladder issues among young people. This rehab centre in Runcorn is seeing more clients suffering irreversible organ damage due to ketamine abuse.
Particularly unique to ketamine addiction is the severe effects it has on the body and the organs, particularly the bladder, and the issues, possibly irreversible issues in a lot of cases on the bladder and its functioning, and that is through prolonged use of the drug.
Hi Danielle. Yeah.
Danielle now volunteers for the charity she says saved her life. But as ketamine use continues to spiral and with NHS support services stretched to the limit, many others may struggle to beat their addiction. Anna Joseph, ITV News.
Well, next tonight, to the latest on the campaign by the mother of Brianna Ghey, who was murdered by 2 teenagers in Warrington. Her mum wants to make the internet a safer place for young people.
Yes, Esther Ghey says there should be tougher controls on the kind of content children can access online. The teenagers who killed her daughter had spent hours accessing harmful and sadistic content on their mobile phones.
Well, today the regulator Ofcom's published its proposals to enforce the government's Online Safety Act, including age verification to stop children accessing harmful material.
Esther Ghey says the Act is a great start, but doesn't go far enough. Our correspondent Rob Smith has more.
To social media scrollers, Brianna Ghey brought dance, song and joy. A public image a world away from the content on self-harm she scrolled through. A universe away from what her killers managed to find online. At Brianna's old school in Warrington, her mum Esther's asked teenagers what they've stumbled across as regulator Ofcom draws up new rules to stop it.
And how did it make you feel when you saw these images?
New rules, Esther believes, need to go further.
There are a lot of good things in there, although there are a few things that I would like to see, such as more support for parents. Like, I know that parents weren't necessarily mentioned within the document, so if parents could report things on behalf of their children, or can have some way of accessing what their children are accessing as well.
Safe, moderated access for children is what Ofcom's trying to achieve, forcing big tech companies to keep damaging material away. It wants them to stop algorithms recommending harmful content to kids, preventing it filling their social media feeds. They'll need to introduce age checks, rigorous ones, to keep youngsters out. And if they don't do all of that, they'll face fines. Big fines.
We can fine companies up to 10% of their global revenue if we need to. That's a big incentive for them to work with us. But we will also be publishing league tables, transparency reports. There will be no escaping from these rules that Ofcom is setting out today. It will be very clear who is and who is not following them, and we are going to be relentless in pursuing those facts and making sure that everybody understands what's happening. And I think that also will be a very strong incentive for these companies.
To Esther, the incentives protecting youngsters from what they told her, told us, they've already seen.
Usually I have to have restricted mode. Even then, you will occasionally see something that you don't really want to.
I've seen some quite graphic videos.
I've seen harmful content that wasn't appropriate for my age. It's just made me feel uncomfortable.
The quicker we all come together and the quicker we can come up with a solution, the better, because there'll be less harm done for children, there'll be less self-harm, there'll be less eating disorders, there'll be less children taking their own lives.
A group representing social media and tech firms say many have already increased protections, and they, quote, look forward to working with Ofcom to create an effective safety regime. Rob Smith, ITV News.
Now then, this week marks the 150th anniversary of Manchester's oldest surviving synagogue.
The Spanish and Portuguese synagogue in Cheetham Hill is home to the Manchester Jewish Museum and has more than 31,000 artefacts, including this year a very special discovery.
Claire Hannah reports.
This is the oldest surviving synagogue building in Manchester. It opened for worship 150 years ago and is now home to the Manchester Jewish Museum. But behind these doors are a lot of memories.
This synagogue now is very much as I remember it. I mean, I look around and it really is like stepping back into my childhood. I had my bar mitzvah here. It was a happy place.
It closed for worship in 1982, reopened as a museum in 1984. 5 years ago, it had a £6 million redevelopment, which saw it double in size with an added annex and one very special discovery.
This is a cornerstone that was moved from the wall edge of the synagogue to here during restoration, and this is what was found in the wall behind it.
For you, as a historian, what is it like when you find something like a time capsule?
It was pretty incredible, actually. I was on maternity leave at the time, so I got a phone call from my boss saying, "We found a time capsule."
Quite the discovery indeed. You can watch more on that report, as well as more stories from our region, on our new ITVX service, available on connected TVs or on any web browser.
Getting that winning feeling. FOW, sponsors of the Granada Sport Report.
Well, next, we're off to one of the most stunning racecourses in the country and the oldest. We're off to the annual May Festival at Chester.
Yeah, I wish we were off to the races. There is always huge excitement, of course, in Chester about the May meeting. And Mike is there for us at the end of day one. Mike, you have the best job of the day. What a perfect setting that is.
Yeah, that's right. This really is one of the most beautiful race courses in the country, and as you say, steeped in history. Chester is officially the oldest race course in the world, dating back to 1539. Now, today was day one of the annual Boodles May Festival. 3 days of racing, culminating on Friday with the prestigious Chester Cup. And this is the wonderful trophy that is up for grabs on Friday, the Chester Cup, celebrating its 200th birthday this year. Now, they're expecting upwards of 35,000 people here throughout the course of this week. Today was Trials Day, 7 races in all. Plenty of people having a flutter, plenty more just enjoying the sunshine, and of course the champagne tents. A little earlier, I spoke to the chief executive of the course, Louise Stewart, who told me how significant this week is for the whole of the city.
It's really important economically. We know that people come and stay in the hotels, the pubs with rooms, they fill up the restaurants, they spend in the shops, they really do enjoy the city. I always say that it's not just the racecourse that hosts a race day, it is the city of Chester, and what a great city to be based in.
Well, the May Festival always attracts some of the biggest names in racing, and in these parts they don't come much bigger than Michael Owen, the former Liverpool and England footballer, owns stables just down the road from here in Malpass, and he'll have runners here, well, in pretty much every race this week. I spent the morning with Michael, and he shared his vision to make racing more accessible. 20 years ago, Michael Owen was one of the brightest young stars in world football. But while firing Liverpool to trophies, he was already planning his next career in horse racing.
I knew early on in my life that this is something I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I was only 23 when I bought Manor House Stables. I bought it as an old arable farm with the view of obviously turning it into a racing stables. But 21 years on and the business has grown, and it's filling me with more pride than it ever has done.
Manor House is now one of the most successful stables in the country, training more than 130 horses and employing 45 staff. This week is one of the biggest on the calendar, the Boodles May Festival in Chester, a home fixture for the former England striker. So is it important as the local yard, in terms of pride, that you dominate that meeting on your doorstep?
Very much so, yeah. I mean, listen, I'm a local lad. I was born in Chester. I live in the area. Chester means the world to me. I wouldn't go as far as saying I prefer a winner at Chester than Royal Ascot, but it comes close. I've often said if we can't dominate our own patch, then how are we going to dominate the rest of the world, type of thing.
And they are the dominant force here. Manor House trainer Hugo Palmer enjoyed more success than anyone at Chester last season.
When anyone's ever won any trophy, the next season's target has got to be retaining it, hasn't it? So we won the trophy for leading stable there last year. Obviously that's a position that we want to maintain, not least because the trophy came with a case of champagne too. So.
Now Michael Owen wants others to experience the thrill of a winner. Through his new racing club, he's offering stakes in 2 of his horses for less than £100 a year. It's a non-profit venture subsidised by Owen in a bid to prove the sport of kings can be for all. So who have we got here, Michael?
This is one of the racing club horses. He's a gentleman, and I don't want to tempt fate, do I? But he is a gentleman. He's a lovely horse, multiple winner.
But he's a gentleman beginning to get up. He's a gentleman. Looks to have just touched off Hieronymus in second place.
I want racing to be available to everybody. This is an entry point for people that might just have a small interest in it, or might never have had an interest in racing, but just to maybe get into it, have a see and feel what it's like.
And who knows, one day they might even celebrate a winner at Chester. With as many as 15 runners here this week, Michael Owen certainly hopes to. Well, next to the tightest of finishes in the League One playoff semi-finals, it's Bolton Wanderers who are heading for Wembley after narrowly seeing off Barnsley on aggregate. They are now 90 minutes away from a return to the Championship. Here's David Chisnell.
Wembley awaits Bolton Wanderers, whose fans sung in celebration and partied on the pitch, with their club now just 1 game away from returning to the Championship.
Go Bolton!
But unaware of a nervy night ahead, supporters arrived in confident mood, taking a 3-1 lead into the second home leg of their League One playoff semi-final with Barnsley. How are you feeling ahead of this
one? Oh, fantastic.
We're going to win.
Why are you so confident?
Because Bolton are good.
Come on!
Is this revenge for last season when they knocked you out at this stage?
Oh, definitely.
We need to beat them
What a
today.
certain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got to stuff them tonight, aren't
Yeah.
we? Come on!
Come on, Bolton!
How special a night could this be, expecting a big crowd in there?
That goes without saying. There will be a big crowd in there. It's a fantastic night for football. Just really looking forward to the game now. And we know what's at stake. People within the club have worked really hard to get to this. Not just the guys on the pitch. People behind the scenes have worked really hard to get to this position. So, yeah, we've got to keep it going now.
They know all about doing things the hard way around here. Once again, that was the case. Leading comfortably 2-1 at half-time, the last 15 minutes were anything but comfortable as Barnsley dared to come back. Despite losing 3-2 on the night, Bolton won 5-4 on aggregate to book their place in the final at Wembley.
Absolutely fantastic. Get in, White Army!
How were the nerves through it?
Oh, I'm sat there like this at the end.
How are you feeling after that?
Elated. Typical Bolton though, but we managed to stick with it and see it through to Wembley.
I got so that nervous because I thought we were going to lose. I got so and just, we were there.
What was it like when the final whistle went?
It was amazing. I was buzzing, absolutely buzzing.
It was incredible. Best football game I've ever been to.
Well, Ian, congratulations off to Wembley. What are your emotions after that?
Yeah, I'm exhausted, to be honest. That's the best atmosphere here since I've been at the club. It was incredible, and you know, the last 10 minutes when Barnsley are throwing absolutely everything at us, the players needed some energy and the crowd energised them. We've done it now and there's one more to go.
That one more will be against either Peterborough or Oxford a week on Saturday. And for the club that almost went out of existence 5 years ago, the Wanderers are in Wonderland and on the brink of a return to the Championship. David Chisnell, ITV News, Bolton.
Yeah, well done to Bolton Wanderers. That is it from me on day one of the May Festival here at Chester. It all culminates with the battle for this trophy, the Chester Cup, on Friday.
Very exciting. Thanks for that, Mike. And if you're lucky enough to be going to Chester over the next couple of days, have a great time. OK, a quick warning next about some flashing images coming up as we tell you about Take That, finally getting the chance to play for fans in Manchester after having to move their gig from the troubled Co-op Live venue.
They played to 22,000 fans at the AO Arena and they seemed to go down a treat. Mark Owen told the crowd that a few days ago they didn't think they'd be playing in their home city at all. He said a special thank you to the AO and very graciously wished the Co-op Live well in future.
Yeah, well said. Well, staying with music, it is a constant source of fascination how music can help break through the isolation of dementia. When you can no longer recognise your closest relatives and friends, sometimes it's music that can help make sense of the world.
And for that reason, there's going to be a major investment in a new 3-year project in Greater Manchester, looking at the impact of music on dementia. It's hoped it will reach more than 1 million people.
The aim is to make the area the UK's first centre of excellence in the treatment and understanding of the condition. Tim Scott reports from the launch event at Manchester's beautiful Gorton Monastery.
A music cafe for people with Alzheimer's, and everyone's having the time of their lives.
I enjoy it.
You like get into a rhythm.
We won't come otherwise.
It's lovely to come here because, like you, we've got smiling faces with us and we try to keep it going type of thing. And my daughters are always coming with me.
He likes to bring different people in the family to come with him each week to see how happy it makes him.
People do come alive. They just come, really animated and it's almost like they're coming back to life. It's brilliant.
This is a place that has always understood the power of music.
Now announced by Mayor Andy Burnham today, there's to be a £1 million expansion of Alzheimer's music cafes across Greater Manchester. It's called the Centre of Excellence for Music and Dementia. Its aim is to provide a lifeline for people with dementia, which it's hoped will improve lives and reduce pressure on the NHS.
Well, it's fantastic. I mean, it's going to embed us further into music making in a more solid, more formal way. We've been working really hard for 12 years to get to a point like this, and for the next 3 years, basically, we'll be funded to make sure that lots more people living with dementia and their family members and carers can access our sessions.
The new sessions will be delivered by the Alzheimer's Society and Manchester Camerata Orchestra.
It will also enable us to do some deep research on data, and that's really critical, because what we should be able to do at the end of this is prove, just to have the evidence to show that music makes joy and makes a difference, but that it will save the NHS money.
The programme will be rolled out from this October, reaching around 1,000 people across Greater Manchester's 10 boroughs. And the research that will run alongside the sessions will be invaluable in tailoring care for people with Alzheimer's and dementia for years to come. Tim Scott, ITV News, Manchester.
Here's Joe.
Why do I need a shower? I've been out in the rain.
The faster you go, the sooner you'll be out. You'll save water too.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hello, thank you very much. Over the next few days, high pressure will dominate our weather, so plenty more blue skies and sunshine to come. It'll also be feeling warm with temperatures above average for the time of year like today. Generally dry conditions. There's scope for a few showers as we head through the end of the week, with gradually our weather beginning to break down somewhat through Sunday. But this is the high pressure. We're feeding in warm air across the UK. UV levels will be high in general over the next few days, something to bear in mind if you are out and about in that sunshine. Heading through into this evening, there's in fact some low cloud and mistiness tending to form, and we'll see some patchy rain and drizzle working west to east across the region as we go through tonight. Becoming largely dry by dawn, but there will be a few mist and fog patches, chiefly in the Pennines and the Lakeland Fells before tomorrow morning. A mild night, 9 or 10 degrees, very light winds as we head into tomorrow morning, and the sun will be up at 5:18, setting just before 9 o'clock tomorrow evening. On to tomorrow then, perhaps a misty start with a few fog patches on Trans-Pennine routes, but very quickly skies will brighten and it will be a fine day with plenty of sunshine for the northwest of England, slightly more cloud for the Isle of Man, but still a decent day there, and it will feel warm quite widely, getting to around 20 Celsius tomorrow afternoon. Very light winds, another misty night in a few spots tomorrow night. And then looking ahead, high pressure continues to dominate, but there will be more cloud around on Friday and potentially 1 or 2 showers. Saturday and Sunday, lots of very warm weather to come, but through Sunday, later in the day, perhaps a few thundery showers. Bye-bye.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.